Hi, everybody. Tonight is, what's the date today?
Tuesday.
The last Sizzle in Utah for a while, of us being in Utah for a while. So we're getting ready to head out. Kevin and Karen are getting ready to head out on their little vacation. So we're all kind of going our separate ways for a little bit, and then we'll all come back together for convention. So we are staying at Pony Express for those of you that have RVs or know people that have RVs. That's where we'll be at, is Pony Express for convention. So tonight we were going to have Lisa with us, but she is in Hong Kong and she is sick. So, which it will, it actually works out for me better that way, because I want to do some Q&A with you guys and just kind of give you an opportunity to ask questions. You guys seem to be a little shy with Lisa and Curtis. So this is a small group. So this is going to be your opportunity to ask questions. But before we do that, let's hear some shares of the good stuff.
And a few minutes ago, Tracy volunteered to go first, so.
Pick me, pick me. Well, I got together with a gal on my team who's kind of done some ordering, kind of off and on, hasn't been super consistent, but you know how it is when the timing is right. And I brought up the business to her again. She goes, you know, my husband and I were just talking about, you know, what we wanted to do in terms of on down the road. So we met yesterday, and she did her LRP at the right level, at the right level. Yeah. And I gave her homework to make lists of people to share the business with and people to share the product with, and she did that. And so it was just all very exciting. And I've also been setting appointments. I've got another appointment tomorrow, talking to people kind of like straight into about the business, you know, people that I just really go, wow, this is somebody I'd really like to be with, you know.
Cool.
So it's been a good week. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm super proud of you for jumping in.
Thank you.
And for reaching out, by the way. Thank you, Karina, for helping. And so what I love about what happened with, Tracy and Karina connected and just were able to talk and stuff. And so what I love about that is just the cross team relationship, friendships and all of that happens. So Karina and Tracy are complete opposite on our team, and so I love the willingness that everybody has to just step in and help in whatever way can be helped in. So
yeah, she talked to me in between gardening stuff.
She's a great multitasker.
Tired.
She's a much better woman than me, that's for sure.
Oh, I tell you what, that girl.
That is an untruth and a lie. Stop that, Romy. See my hands? You can't tell that I'm a gardener. Come on. I had to leave the garden early so that I could come be on the call.
Awesome. Very cool. Iris, you had something you wanted to share?
Well, I've been doing wellness consults with my downline, and today I did one with a gal that bought a family physician's kit. She was one of the first people that where's my languages here? First people on my team. And she bought that kit, and has hardly opened it. She uses a few things very regularly, but then everything else, there were a lot that were still shut tight. So we just went through all of it and talked about uses, and well, she's got adult acne, so here's melaleuca and maybe frankincense to help for that, and she's got, oh, I can't remember it all, but she was really in tune. And as soon as she gets rid of, uses up all her other stuff, which should be the end of July, we're going to get together again and get an LRP going. And it is so great to realize that if you are good at what you do, meaning follow up especially, you're going to have good luck. And I just have not been that good at follow up. So I'm feeling like I'm coming into my own finally.
Awesome. That's a good feeling, especially when they're receptive when you do that. That's a really good feeling. Good job. Who else has something they want to share? Everybody stayed in bed all week? Nothing good happened?
Every day's good.
So I'm still fairly new to sharing and teaching, but I did host my first class at my husband's office last week on Wednesday. And with his coworkers, they ended up having 6 of them show up. So I was like, yay, okay, I can do this.
That's fantastic. Great job.
And then I've got a one-on-one scheduled for later this week. So
Cool.
I'm just working up some momentum.
Awesome, awesome.
I've had a very good week, and part of it was thanks to you, Romy, for the awesome gift that you gave me, choosing my video. I'm very grateful. This has been a wonderful week for me. One of the things that I did was to reach out to someone who had enrolled probably December, maybe. She's on my 3rd line down. So I noticed that she bought something every month, 2 or 3 orders every month. Consistent buyer, but she had never joined our oil group. She'd never reached out to any of us. She'd never done oil camp. And I thought she needs to be taught how to use her membership better. So I asked my downlines, do you mind if I reach out to her? And they did not, so I did. And she was so excited. She said, I'm so glad you called me. She said, I love the oils and I want to know how to use them more. So she's even agreed to probably host a class in the near future.
Awesome. Well, I just have to say that you inspire me. I loved your video. I love that you and Neil and Crystal are doing this together, having that family dynamic. I mean, it's like with Karen and Karina and me. There is something very special about being able to do this with your family. So I am, I love that you guys are doing that. And I love how you're just jumping in there and just going for it. I just think that that's fantastic and it's very inspiring. So thank you for sharing and thank you for being with us.
I could not do it without them. They are great and I'm so grateful to them. I love the family unit also. And you know, Neil's sister is in with us too, both of his sisters. So
nice.
I'm just looking forward to where we're going to be in 5 years.
Fantastic. Yeah,
Thanks
you pull
again.
all that money together and holy smokes.
Yeah.
Right, bank account now.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move into the questions, unless somebody has something that they want to share quick before we move on to the questions. So I pulled up the questions that we had on our challenge today. Before we go into that, I'll let you guys just pop your questions out there. So this is just very low-key, informal. This is your opportunity to just get the help that you need, so don't be shy.
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, so this happened this week where I teach a lot of classes. So we have like scheduled classes every week, and we have people on our team and our downlines team come, and we always ask about hosting classes and getting people excited about that. And so we had someone host a class, and the person that was directly above them was slightly perturbed that we kind of skipped over them because, well, we didn't have clear communication, I guess, of that they were really trying to build the business. And so there was a little bit of miscommunication. And I just wondered two things. How do you deal with that? Do you always go to that person first? I just didn't think of it, but now I think we should. But I just want to be sure. Like, do you go to that person first before you ever talk to them, to the people about hosting under them?
So you mean do you ask permission from the leader if anybody on the team would host a class? Is that what you're asking?
I think so. I'm trying to word it in a way that makes sense to me. Yes.
Okay. I think that would be, personally, I would say that it's more of an individual situation. Like each situation would be different in that case for the most part, because the way that I look at it is, so we have amazing leaders on this team, amazing leaders, but this whole team is our team. And so it is, when you talk about like the tap reading and supporting the team and different things like that, I take that responsibility seriously. And so if there was somebody on the team that wanted to host a class, needed support, any of that stuff, I would say yes. I would support that person. I would do a class, or whatever it is that they're asking for. I do think that it's good to include the leader. Like you can do like a joint Facebook message or something like that, because and I've done this before. I'll send like a group message and say, you know what, this is what we've talked about. This is what I have done, just to try and help that leader to be informed more, because then that leader will know best how to help that person as well. Plus, it will, if that leader steps in and decides to really lead, that takes some of the responsibility off your plate. So I do think that open communication is huge in that way. Really give the leaders an opportunity to be a leader in regards to that. But I think relationship and communication is key, and you'll know the best way to proceed in a situation like that, and many other situations. I've heard, not necessarily on our team, but I have heard of where leaders get very perturbed if someone from the upline reaches out and has a conversation with somebody on their team. And one, I don't understand that, because we're in this together, and as much help as our team can have, that's what I want for everybody on the team. I would never begrudge Natalie a relationship with any of you. I would never begrudge her the opportunity, or one of you the opportunity, to learn from Natalie. And so I think it's super important to just have that open, just have that be okay, to have those relationships grow and expand, and no matter where we are on the team.
I just want to see how the Lord helped us decide, because we prayed a lot, and by the end of the evening we had decided we were going to place them under her no matter what, because we're building for gold and it doesn't work there, but it didn't matter. And so relationship was first for us. And then this morning she thought we were at the beach, and she forgot her Natural Solutions handout, and she was going to talk to someone, and she needed to call Patty, my mother-in-law, and said, can I please come borrow one? And she came, and we were able to have a face-to-face conversation and completely work it out. But
oh, awesome.
That was absolutely the Lord's intervention, and so I was very grateful.
Awesome. And if you're a prayer, praying is always key. I pray about every decision that I make, every contact I make. That's just the way that I do things. So it's learning how to depend on something bigger than us, because we're just not that good. We need some extra help.
And I think it's important, one thing that we've always done is that as a leader, set that precedent that it's okay. Like Romy said, there's a lot of leaders out there that they don't want an upline talking to any of their downline, and we have some on our team like that, and we don't agree with that at all. I mean, no matter where the help comes from, we're all in this together. And the more we can help somebody, and the better we can make them, the better we're going to be, the better the team's going to be. So it's up to us as leaders to set that precedent right from the beginning. That, there's not any barriers here. If you want to talk to Karina, or like Romy said, or Lateran, or Iris, or anybody, I don't care what part of our team you're on or what cross line you're on, it's okay. So.
Lisa said when she was present, I actually just started watching one of her videos earlier. It's not about us. Stop being about us the day we stop being a prospect. It's always about the other person. It's not about us. So whatever we can do to help our people, that is what needs to be done. So hope that helped.
It helped.
Okay. Next question.
I'll go.
Okay.
So part of my training learning this week, it's kind of struggling with, my story. I have a story, but at the same time, I think I've learned that we can broaden our story base, because we're all on the same team and we're all sharing the same product, that we should be sharing each other's stories as a way to discuss the opportunity with people if it fits that particular scenario. So my question is that okay? Even though it sounds like a great idea, obviously I wouldn't want to be poaching someone's story, but I think it's a great idea. If someone can use my story to help somebody, then fantastic, right? So that was a question. I just wanted to understand if that was okay to do, so to speak.
That's totally okay. I share other people's stories all the time. One thing maybe to be sensitive about, depending on the story, is maybe not share the name. So I do, I tell people, especially when people are just starting, sometimes it takes a little bit to get your own oil story or your own business story. And so it's really important to know other people's stories, so that way you can share, because stories sell, and they're super important. People are going to come along a lot faster by sharing a story than by sharing facts. And so that's where the relationship comes from with the team. You get a chance to personally know what people's stories are. You can read people's stories, but for the most part, depending on the situation, I share a third-party story first before I share my own, especially when it comes to business. And that's where being in tune to the person that you're talking to is going to be super important, because then you'll know what's going to be the best information for them, the best story. So yeah.
When you almost have to share stories, because probably only 1 out of 20 or 50 people that you meet are going to relate to your specific story. I mean, you don't have all of the symptoms or ailments or whatever that you're trying to get across. So you have to share stories that you have of other people. I mean, we I don't know how many times we've shared Iris's story when we run into people that have had strokes or something, because neither one of us have had that, but we have a very good friend that has had amazing results with the oils with her strokes. So it's to answer your question, it's perfectly all right to share somebody else's story. Like Romy said, maybe not share the name, but
Okay.
Next.
Hi, Romy and Mark and everybody else. Today we were talking to a young couple in New Hampshire, and she told us that she was really she had someone talk to her before about doTERRA, but she wasn't in a financial place, or whatever the person presented to her didn't really sink in, I guess. And so when we talked to her, we told them about the oils, told them some of our stories, and along with the oil information, we shared all about doTERRA, about healing hands and co-impact sourcing. And she said if the lady that she had talked to however long ago had brought up any of that, she would have had a much bigger interest in it, because she's all about what did she say? Political science,
she's a political science major.
Yeah, she was a political science major, and she's all about helping the world. So it made me realize that it's important to hit on all of the aspects of the company, the business opportunity, and oil stories. I think in every conversation, we'll try to incorporate a little of all of that every time, because you just don't know what's going to resonate the most with them. It may just be knowing that this company has such integrity and, cares about every part of our world, because they were both completely blown away with all of that. And on top of it, they were interested in the oils. And it was just a great experience for us to realize, being fairly new, we've done all of the wrong things, blast them and I don't know, scare them away and be too excited and throw all of it at them. But it was just a very casual, relaxed conversation. And I'm almost positive that we'll be hearing from them. They're in the position of having to move and blah, blah, blah. So they're not ready yet. We're going to send them some samples, and then we're going to follow up with them. And we have a call on Friday, so Jim can go over more of the business side of it. They're living payday to payday, and they do realize that it's a long-term thing, but they're young. They're probably early 20s. And I mean, I just wish we could have done that, so we were, and the reason we even connected with them is because of a man that Jim connected with on LinkedIn, who was in another MLM company having to do with energy or something like that. And so, of course, when he made that connection, we didn't think it would go anywhere, but we had sent him samples and we sent them our website, and they signed up as a retail customer and bought a few things before we even had a chance to get on with them and talk to them about what we sent them. And so we did do a Zoom with them, and we talked to them about that they could do wholesale. And this guy somehow ran into this couple, and he didn't even try to get them involved in what he was doing. He knew that they were more into the holistic yoga, health, and wellness. So he just contacted Jim and said, I added her to our conversation. She'd be a better fit for you. So that was today, and tonight we had a Zoom. So it was really, really exciting. I mean, one day we're going to have that motorhome, and we're going to have so many people to visit on the East Coast. And here we are living in the forest. So I just wanted to share that. I think it's really important to always know that each avenue is important, and it will hit with someone different, even if they don't, if they're not ready for oils, or I don't know. It's just really important to share it all.
Right. And it's also, we talk about that it takes like seven touches on average first before someone says yes. And so when someone says no, that's where we need to really pay attention to. It's just no for right now, and where that follow-up is super important. So if the person that would have followed up and continued on, that person would have known that they needed more information. And it's just, so the follow-up is super, super important in that way, and building that relationship with someone so what information to give them. So you guys just, trusting yourself and giving that information, they ended up getting what they needed. So sometimes it's not a matter of 1, 2, 3. It's a matter of, well, this person is ready for 3. And, it really is just knowing who you're talking to and asking the right questions so you can give them the information that they need.
Yeah, and it was really wonderful having that Dan, the guy that is doing something with energy, because he'll continue to do that. And so we'll be looking for people that we meet in the states that his program fits, and we'll also reciprocate so that, and they loved the products enough to just jump on and do the retail purchase. So then they were like, oh, we can do wholesale. So they said, oh, well, we'll do that on our next order. And awesome. They want to use the product, but immediately he sent someone our way. So that was really cool, because I never really thought about, I know there's a lot of companies out there and a lot of people doing all different things. And sometimes I guess we think, oh, we probably shouldn't, go after them and talk to them, but our products are completely different. And it doesn't mean we can't reciprocate in the future. So It's pretty exciting.
Right. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Anybody else? Next question.
What is your nice, simple, elegant way of explaining LRP and the importance of being on LRP?
Before or after the fact of enrollment?
Oh, after the fact of enrollment.
Okay, so I never enroll someone without LRP. So who does LRP after enrollment? Who has a way that they do it?
Well, okay, then talk about it before then. Maybe let's go back to before.
Well, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong. That doesn't, because I know that there's a lot of people that help people get their account and then do the follow-up, like they do the wellness consult, they go through and help them get on LRP, all of that stuff. So that's a good, it's good. I do LRP and everything right out of the gate. So who has a system that they utilize in order to get somebody on LRP after they sign their person up? Oh my goodness. Go ahead, Karina. Oh, okay.
Yep. Go ahead, Crystal.
Go ahead, Crystal.
Okay, well, I play it by ear. Yeah, I play it by ear. So if I can do it at the first meeting, I absolutely do it at the first meeting, and I throw it out there. Say, what is your wish list? Let's talk about you were working on this time, but you really need this too. So add that to your next thing, and I'll sign it up. It'll be set up, and we'll talk before it ever goes through. And so I make sure that I follow up with them, and they know too if they want to adjust it at all or increase it to get the free product. Then we're having a meeting before then. So that kind of ensures that meeting, because I don't want that to go through until they are committed to it. And it builds trust, I feel like. Now, sometimes they're just not ready for that. So then I do it at the wellness consult. So I do walk them through, have them grade themselves on the pyramid and say, where do you need to work things out? And then we add it to their LRP then.
Sorry. And also, we do incentives every month for LRP. So that's something that we've kind of implemented that I think helps. So we actually do a giveaway the last week of the month in our group for any new members that have set up their LRP card. It could be for any amount. And so that kind of helps some of our leaders maybe who aren't as good at talking to people for LRP to say, hey, don't forget to set up your LRP card so that you can be in the drawing for this week for the giveaway. And then we do a weekly LRP giveaway too, for, we kind of have a way that we do that. So we incentivize LRP in some ways. And so that helps. So we constantly talk about it. And so just having it front of mind, I think helps. And that has helped increase our LRPs. So that's another thing that we do.
That's a great idea. Awesome. Okay, so how I do it. Am I frozen? Okay. So when I talk to somebody about getting their wholesale account, I tell them they have two options. They can either, when they're talking about purchasing oils, so you can get your oils through retail, so you can pay retail, or you can get your oils with a wholesale account with loyalty rewards. Loyalty rewards is just like having the reward points on a credit card. You get a chance to be able to earn points for free product, and it's just the best bang for your buck. It's super easy to set it up, and it's easier to set it up when you get your wholesale account right out of the gate than it is to take the time down the road to set it up, because life happens, you get super busy, you don't know how to do it, you don't want to take the time to ask somebody how to do it, and so then you've got 2 or 3 months down the road, you've ordered with a standard order without loyalty rewards, and you've lost those free points. So you lose money by not having loyalty rewards. It's super easy to set up, and it's super easy to cancel. So all you have to do is call doTERRA and cancel it with a phone call if you decide that you don't want to be on loyalty rewards anymore. That's how I do it. So it's really not an option. I don't leave it as an option. It's just part of the wholesale account.
And Romy, do you have a lot of people then that don't, or that cancel it later? Because that's what's happening to me. A lot.
No. So one of the things that I learned very early on is that, so we know the logistical aspect of your loyalty rewards. As we're building a business, we have to have a qualifying order. So people talk about the $100 LRP and all of that. Well, that freaks people out. So I learned very early on that it's okay to not do the 100 PV order. So I tell them right out of the gate. So if you have a month where you don't need oils or you can't afford it, then all you do is purchase a bottle of lemon oil. Everyone should be using lemon oil. Boyd says lemon oil is underused. And so if you are placing your order with loyalty rewards, you're getting points for your shipping. So basically, if you have a month where you can't purchase or you don't want to purchase, your lemon oil is going to be paid for, and that puts you in a holding pattern. And if you're set up for your savings later on down the road as well. So if you spend $50 or more, that's when you start to advance in your percentage, and you also advance in your points, and you earn points. If you spend less than $50, that puts you in a holding pattern. You save your points. You don't go down in your percentage or for the loyalty rewards savings aspect of it. And so you're good to go either way. So that's pretty much how I do it. And it, more often than not, people are trying to figure out how not to spend a whole bunch of money than they're trying to figure out how they can spend the amount of money. Because once they start using the product, then they're seeing all these products that they want. So then they have to, pick and choose. So it's not really a matter of how am I going to, how are they going to spend that money? It's a matter of how you're going to get your costs down because they want it all. So, and staying in touch with them, I've learned over the years that reaching out to someone when it looks like they might be struggling with their loyalty rewards, if you have a phone conversation with them and really talk about their life, talk about what's going on with them, you can make suggestions during the phone call. And I had a phone call with the lady one time, and it was just in conversation, and she ordered every single oil that I talked about and that I recommended. So there is definitely something to be said about having that personal conversation and not depending on texts and messaging all the time.
Can I add something?
Yep.
So also, a lot of people, when they're first starting out with their loyalty rewards, they're not using their oils consistently. So when the next month rolls around, they're going to be like, oh, well, I already have enough of this oil. I don't need this. I don't need this oil. And so then that's when they're like, well, I don't need anything else, so I'm not going to order. And doTERRA now has so many more products other than oils that they can purchase. And for like Mom was saying with the the lemon oil, purchasing lemon oil, a lot of people don't want to. I had some people that didn't want any oils, period. They weren't using them. They had a stockpile. They just didn't want to use them anymore. So I started suggesting the spa products. The chapstick is probably the cheapest thing that you can purchase on loyalty rewards. It's 5 PV. And
lotion is the same.
Yeah. And who doesn't use chapstick? Everybody uses chapstick. Even my husband uses chapstick, and he hates all that kind of stuff. But everyone needs soap, shampoo, conditioner, and it's a daily product that can be used without the high cost of the oils. And before they even realize it, the cost for their PV is up to what they were spending for their oils, and then it just becomes a natural thing every single month because they're finding new things to spend their money on and their points on rather than developing a stockpile of the same oils.
So one suggestion that I make, if I have someone that is on a tight budget, and we're talking about the loyalty rewards and points and all of that stuff. So we all know how important gut health is. We all know how important the Lifelong Vitality Pack is. Everyone should be on the vitamins. So I tell people, spend your money on the products like the Lifelong Vitality Pack, PV Assist, the Terrazyme, all of that stuff. Accumulate your points and use your points for oils, because the points are dollar for dollar value. So then they know that if they have 100 points, they know that they're, for the most part, going to be able to get $100 in oils. So they spend their cash on the vitamins, and the different gut health things, and then basically get their oils free. So I was going to share this book with you, and I've shared it before. This book is called Essential Oils, A Beginner's Guide, Healthcare for Today. So this was done by Carrie Donegan and Elena Jordan, I think. This is from, I think she redid this book after compliance, but what's cool about this book, I actually talked to her, and when she enrolls people, she doesn't enroll them with kits. She uses this book. She teaches her class with this book, and she helps people to get their oils with this book. So this book goes through, and it has different systems. So it has like breast health, brain power, addiction and substance abuse, different things like that. So you can go through and pick something out of this book that's going to resonate with your person. And then it's there's a 3-month plan of purchasing. So on this one, it's for earaches. So they have, for month 1, it's the GI cleansing formula, daily supplements pack, protective soft gel, tension blend, probiotic defense formula. And then the next 2 months, there's also suggestions there for them to be able to place their order. So that will keep their LRP active. And it gives them what they need rather than just selling them a product just to sell them a product. It's super important to make sure that we're giving them what they need, not just sell them a natural solutions kit because it's a high dollar kit. There's big reasons why someone should have the natural solutions kit because of all the benefits that go along with it financially, as well as the lifelong vitality pack. That's the #1 reason why I suggest that. But it really is a matter of listening to them, figuring out what their needs are, and helping them to purchase the products that they need. And this book is just a way to kind of give us suggestions to be able to help them even better. So, like I said, I don't know what the new book looks like, but I know that she did do a new one. So I think it's cool. Did that help?
If somebody can
show the book again so we can see the title, please.
I think it's backwards. Is it backwards?
Thank you.
You betcha. What time is it?
So since you were talking about the products and the supplements, I have a question about the Cleanse and Restore kit.
Okay.
Has anybody done the 30-day cleanse that's in the Live Guide? Has anybody in this group already done that?
I see Crystal nodding her head.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done that too.
Okay, because I did a group last summer before I was really starting to use the oils and the supplements, just, kind of like a detox cleanse group. And I'm trying to get another group like that started up right now, encouraging people to buy the Cleanse and Restore kit. Because it's my understanding that doTERRA's recommendation is that you do like the 30-day detox and then follow it up with the LLV. Is that correct? Like to prepare your body for the LLV, or do you take the LLV concurrently?
I took it concurrently. I've read both.
Okay.
But I liked the idea of supporting my body while I was going through that cleanse. So that's why I did that the whole time.
Okay. Because that's why I'm trying to figure out, and I'm just, I'm sitting here because that kit doesn't have a lot of oils in it. So I'm like, okay, if I can get them to sign up with this kit this month and then do their 100 PV next month, getting a few more oils, then they can get the free set of LLV to continue it. Something like that with that promo that's going on right now. So that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out. And I just wasn't sure because I haven't done the cleanse yet either. But, and with what I do with applied kinesiology, I was really, really hesitant about the supplements, getting started with them. But, you know, so I do muscle testing to determine if the supplements are good for a person or not. And so far, I mean, I haven't had anybody that's responded that they did not need to be taking LLB, which for me is confirmation that it is a really good products. So
awesome.
But yeah.
Okay, we're at 10:02.
Does that mean shut off the recording or?
How about placement?
Okay.
Let's leave the recording on for sure.
Okay. There are questions about placement. So what do you have specifically about placements?
Everything. I found that I guess I was building too wide, and I should be building down, and I just don't get it. I mean, I understand the levels and all of that, but, you know, yeah, I just don't get it.
Okay.
Help.
Is that what you have too, Patty? Or do you have something different?
Yes. No, that's basically it. Neil is helping me a lot, but if I didn't have him to ask every time, I don't know what I'd do, because it's just so hard to know where to put them. You never know who might be a builder.
Okay, so this is what I do. In starting off, you want to help your person pick at least 2 people, 3 tops right out of the gate. So the idea is that we are going to help them build to premier. You do not want an army on your front line. It can totally be a crapshoot. So especially when you first start off, you don't have a lot of options when you first start off. So your people that are on your front line, those are your people that are on your front line. However, the communication is super, super important when it comes to this. So your confidence in what you're doing and your belief in what you're doing is going to be key in this part of it. So have a conversation with them, straight up conversation. This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going. I would love for you to partner with me, and we'll do this together. If they say, yay, I'm all in, then take them at their word for it. You have 14 days to move them. So give them some activity to do, something to do that will show you that they're serious about it. If they follow through with everything that you've had them ask them to do in that time frame, then keep them as a builder for you. If they don't, then you put them someplace where it's going to support your team and it's also going to support them. So what I usually say, and this is what I do, is that I have amazing leaders that are going to be able to come alongside you and support you. So I'm going to place you with this leader, and so you'll have support of this leader as well as me. I will still be there with you, but it just helps me to help you better. So that's where the conversation is important, to be able to know where to place them. When you're working on helping them to build, if they're starting to enroll, you want to duplicate that. So you want to help them to identify 2 people as they come onto the team, and help them to reach executive. So basically, the elite is the building block of your team. That's what we want to do, is help people get to elite. But elite ends up, when Natalie first told me that you get to elite by having a 3,000 volume, well, I had no idea what that meant. I was completely lost in that, and I thought that I had to do the 3,000 all on my own, which you can. We don't recommend that. It's just not. It's not a wise thing to do, and it's not sustainable. So in regards to the difference between elite and premier, it takes the weight off of your person's shoulders. Instead of talking about elite, then you get to talk about, okay, we're gonna help your people get to executive. So in doing that, that makes you premier. And so you have a plan. It's more about having a plan for placement than it is to be going for a rank, because I've seen it many, many times where people have an army on their front line, and it's because there's no plan in place. When I first started doing it, I had a theme. So I knew before I even enrolled somebody where they were going to go, because Lataren's team had a theme, Karina's team had a theme. I just knew that as I enrolled people, where the best fit was going to be for that. So it's all about having the plan and having the communication, the lines of communication being open. And I feel like I'm totally fumbling this. But it is a matter of, as we move into helping them to play, as you're placing for premier, that brings that unity and that team dynamic together faster, rather than say, okay, let me help you get to elite. All you got to do is have $3,000 and you're elite. Yay, go team. That doesn't sound fun to me. So it is a matter of pulling as many people together and working together in that. And that's where the concept of working towards premier comes into play. But like I said, you can have a conversation with somebody and they can be all in. They can do everything that you ask, and 3 months down the road, something can happen. And it doesn't work in the way that you anticipated. That doesn't mean that your person did something wrong. That doesn't mean you did something wrong. That's just life. This business is a business of people. So we have to really make sure that we don't take things personal, make sure that we are communicating. There's a lot of, that's why I stress the personal growth so much, because we can only do what we can do, and then the rest follows.
Do you do that much? Yes, but do you do that much communicating when they are enrolling? And
it all depends on the person.
Because my people seem so overwhelmed just by learning the oils and the products that if I hit them too much with the business side of it, it just intimidates them.
Yeah, so that's where knowing your person is valuable. So there's nothing wrong with assuming that person is going to be a customer for you, and right now the business it's not the right time for them. So you place them with one of your other leaders, which it will help them. It will help your other leader. It will give you volume. So, and if they all of a sudden kick it into gear and they go for it, yay. It doesn't hurt that way either. It doesn't matter if you have a qualifying leader on your front line or your fourth line or your fifth, sixth, seventh. It doesn't matter where they're at, as long as you have enrollment of them. So that's one of the things that we talked just briefly about last week. Tracy mentioned it, the difference between enroller and sponsor. So the enroller, you're the parent. They belong to you. If they are your person, if you have introduced, if you have taken the time to educate, and you're going to be the one that does the follow-up on them, that you need to be the enroller. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You should be the enroller. If they if they're at a class and someone else is hosting the class, that person's not doing the business, have no interest in doing the business, that's where the conversation comes into play, where you talk to that person. They've invited all these people to a class. You've got people get ready to enroll and your person that's hosting the class isn't doing the business. There's going to be some people that will go along with my thinking on this and some people that will not go along with my thinking on this. So this is what I do. If I have someone that is not interested in building the business, I'm taking them at their word at face value. So then I tell them, I respect that you're not interested in doing the business. If you send people to me, I will take care of them and I will place them underneath you. Then that's where you become, that person becomes the sponsor. So you keep the enrollment and then they go into a different section on your team and then they become the sponsor. So it really is kind of like your family dynamic where you got the mom and cousins and stepmom and all of that stuff.
And I feel
what? Yes.
I was just gonna say, is my sound okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Sometimes like Patty's saying, sometimes your people aren't ready, right? And we have something new that we've never had before, and that's the wholesale customer. So don't be afraid to enroll them as the wholesale customer instead of the wellness advocate, because if you know they're not ready for the business, we know that 97% of your team is going to just be a customer. Like, we love customers. Even though we're looking for those few people who are going to build, we know that 97% of our people are just going to be a customer. So keep them as a wholesale customer. And then that way, when, you know, they learn their oils and you get them on LRP and they say, I'm ready to host that class, like Romy's saying, and maybe they invite 10 people, well, now they're not even eligible to have those people under them unless they upgrade their account. So that's a beautiful time to say, well, now you can upgrade. There is a 90-day waiting period there if they've enrolled and you didn't move them, but it gives you a 3-month period to really get to know them and then to get to know you and onboard them that way. So all they do is log in, they click upgrade, they enter their social security number, you're eligible to move them for 14 days.
Yeah, I've had one do that. Do you find that most people who are going to be builders start right at the beginning, or they use the products and learn to love them and then want to build?
Most builders that I have experience with, most people will love the product and then see the benefit of the business. That is, I don't know, Kenzie, you could probably, you talked more.
I would say that's the same thing, right? 97% of us are signing up because we have a problem. You know, we're looking for a solution. I work with a lot of people, and I don't know anyone who signed up saying, I am going to rock this MLM, and I'm so excited, and I can't wait to make my list of 100 and call everyone I know. I know we're all looking for that person, but that's just not how it goes.
Yeah, and that's why I say the most important thing is to teach people to love the product, because there's a lot of people that grow a business on accident because they love the product, they're sharing, and you know, they have, because they're not doing the business, they're not afraid to share. They're sharing their favorite mascara. That's all they're doing, or their favorite restaurant. That's what people are doing when they're not doing the business. They love the oils and they share the oils with every person that comes their way. And all of a sudden they're getting a check. I've talked to 2 people that called doTERRA and said doTERRA made a mistake when they sent a check to them because they were sharing the oils and they accidentally got a check. So teach them to love the oils and the rest will just evolve. And the majority of them will stay a customer and loving the oils. Then you'll have the other ones that will jump in and see the benefit of the business and want to do the business.
I was just going to say, I can totally second that. It was probably 4 years ago I got my first bottle of oil. And it's been now just 3 months that I've really been like, you know what, I want to do this as a business. So yeah, I've totally been using the oils and loving them. But now I'm like, okay, I want to shake this to everybody. So
Awesome.
That's the way I started.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is never discount someone. Every person that you talk to, every person that comes onto your team, they all have the potential to rock this business. Make sure you watch what comes out of your mouth. Never say that person will never build the business. Never say that. Always speak blessings and speak the positive and the possibilities and all the goodness that person has, because everyone has the potential, and we can curse that part of their destiny with our mouth. So always believe they all have potential. We all have potential. It's up to them to make the decision, but it's up to us to believe in them.
I think too that sometimes we don't realize who our builders are going to be until we actually look for them on our own team. You know, if you're not spending time in your detailed genealogy, start, because people aren't going to call you and say, I'm ready to share. What you're going to find is you're going to be looking at what people are ordering, and these orders are going to be processing. And next thing you know, someone's processing 2 or maybe 3 orders a month, or maybe they're ordering 5 balance on 1 order. Well, why are they ordering 5 balance? You have to be kind of careful with that. Don't call them and say, I'm looking at what you're ordering. I mean, that's crazy. But find out what's going on, because chances are they shared it with someone and now 4 other people want it, so they ordered it because that's all they know how to do. They don't know there's a better way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Amber talks about she didn't even know that any of this was possible for a long time. So it is a matter of being aware of what's happening. That's where the tap reading is super, super powerful. Really watch. I lived on my graphic tree when I started off, so I could see what was happening with people and where things were needed, and I could see what people were doing and who needed help. And so it's super important to keep on the heartbeat of your team and what's happening.
Okay, so what is taprooting?
That's looking deep into your team. So so some people think that if they don't enroll somebody, then they don't work with that person, because that person is the responsibility of the person that enrolled them. But taproting, so Tracy Kennebeck is one that, you know, in what Kenzie was talking about, I watched what was happening, and I saw what was happening with Tracy and Holly, and I just reached out and just wanted to touch base with them. And so that's where building the relationship, letting them know that you're there to support them. And it's super important to, when you say I'm here to support you, that you make it very, very clear, especially if you're not the enroller. You are here to come alongside the person that enrolled them. You're joining together to support that person. And but it's just a matter of going deep, see what's happening deep on your team, and opening up the lines of communication and make sure that they're being supported. More often than not, they're being supported. It's just a matter of reaching out and making that touch with them. And it's fantastic doing it that way. Having the relationships deep on your team, it's fantastic. Highly, highly recommend it. No one on your team, no matter how deep they are, how wide, no one should be off limits when it comes to your support, love, and relationship.
But something to that.
Okay.
If you do the tap reading and you are talking to the enrollers of those people and they get upset with you because you're talking to those people, their people, do not get offended. Sometimes leaders have their own way of doing things, and they like knowing who their team is talking to and making sure that what they are teaching their team is following, and they're not being derailed from what they are trying to do with their team. So taprooting is excellent, but if someone says, no, thank you, we don't want that, or a leader gets upset because you are trying to reach out to their team, don't take it personal.
Yeah, and that's where the lines of communication, keeping those open is super, super important. Communicate, communicate, communicate. And then communicate. All right, we're after the hour. The timer went off like 40 minutes ago. Jeez, I tried. Okay, you can stop the recording, Kenzie, please.